Air Army Regulation 56.3, Surface Transportation Management, Army Railway Equipment. Introduction. 1.1. The purpose of the regulation prescribes the Department of the Army policy procedure for the operation of any of the rolling stock locomotive, train maintenance equipment. It also applies to all activities installation of the Army-owned railway equipment. The regulation reforms procedures pertaining to the revision of the Department of Defense railway policy. 1.2 reference related publication prescribed in reference form that are listed in Appendix A. 1.3 explanation abbreviation of terms abbreviation special terms used in regulation explained in the glossary. 1.4 responsibility. Deputy Chief of Staff G3, 5, and 7 will ensure the requirements documented locomotive, the track maintenance equipment submitted with the U.S. Army Tank Automotive Armaments Command and Life Cycle Management Command and incorporated with into structural composition system file and approval for the normal in-process review. The Deputy Chief of Staff G4 will develop and promulgate Army rail policy formation, provide general staff program policy and program guidance for the Army rail management, act as a proponent for the regulations, serve as a chairman for the Inter-Service Locomotive Management Committee, hold an annual meeting with the participants from all services. Upon request, review standards established for each service for the utility railway equipment, which is the equipment is not subject to the Association of American while such equipment is not subject to the Association of American Railroad or Federal Railroad Administration regulations. Every effort will be made to comply with the FRA regulations and domiciled equipment instead utilized by the Army utilization. 7. Installations. Provide technical information on the new rail programs, innovation equipment that will enhance the performance capability, installation, and review or rail. Recommendation, procurement, new locomotives, rail equipment, the basis, performance factors, industry standards, compliance with federal safety, environmental regulations with each of the service funding constraints, determining program funding requirements, installation, rail, ancillary equipment based on the life of the Army rail locomotive procurement plan, and see Appendix C. The Commanding General of the U.S. Army Material Command will provide all the procurement responsibility, DA rail equipment, implementation, locomotive rail car maintenance program, funding for all the Royal Army installation managing program, execute the assigned garrison rail operation authorization, utilization, domicile rail with the exemption of installation management command, manage garrisons, coordinate with the U.S. Army Transportation School to ensure certification, recertification of locomotive engineers in the Army Army Material Command. The commander of the transportation, the Tank Automotive Armament Command, and the Life Cycle Management Command will act as initial requirements document developer for all locomotives, rolling stock, track maintenance equipment, to control serial number letting with all DoD-owned railway equipment provided representing to serve the member is in the Interstate Locomotive Management Committee. Act at a certain point, the delegation of acquisition of the Department of Defense Railway assets, the Department of Transportation Vault, National Transportation System Center. 5. Provide performance depot maintenance for the Army or utility railway equipment, Continental United States or Army Railroad owned railway equipment repair facility commercial contract. Disturb funds of the rail, or disperse funds for the repair of the Army utility freight equipment required with the provision of AAR's interchange manual. Provide technical association serve with the military service deployment, the distribution command, MSDDDC, defensive freight railway interchange fleet, or the DFRIF, if any requested management maintenance of the defensive freight railway interchange fleet are governed by the Defensive Transportation Regulation 4509R, provided with the command and control railway equipment sustainment maintenance for the Defensive Generator Rail Center, DGRC. Provide the Defensive Generator Rail Center sustainment and field maintenance for the Department of Defense and having inter-service support agreements and with the IMCOM, ensure the director with the Defensive Generator Rail Center establishes execute locomotive readiness, provide the representative to serve the member of the Inter-Service Locomotive Management Committee. The command of the General Use Training Documentation Command will determine the Army Railway Equipment Doctrine, equipment, and application for the best support current and future Army concept of verse components. 2. The Administrator of the Department of Defense Locomotive Engineering Certification Programs in accordance with the Section 240, Title 49 Code Federal Regulations, Title 49 CFR 240 Virtual consecutive simulation full extent possible to support training. 3. The provided facilities curriculum with the certification of locomotive engineers train crews, recertification of locomotive engineers train crews, and annual check rides. See paragraph 3 and 3. 4. Commanding IMCOM manage the program execute with the assigned general garrison rail operations of authorization, utilization, domicile rail, with the exemption of the Army Military Command, Army Material Command, manage garrisons. Provide the command oversight with the approval of the IMCOM installation rail table of distribution allowance and or TDA. Conduct periodic reviews of domicile railroad operation maintenance utilization. Coordinate the transportation school for UTIS for certification, recertification for locomotive operation installations. Provide responsible to serve the member as an inter-service the locomotive management committee. Oversee the railroad locomotive of the railway rolling stock track maintenance of the way of the equipment distribution provided with the IMCOM. Direct the redistribution level transfer of rail assets CONUS and the IMCOM installations. Establish DA policy for the maintaining, repairing, and improving the railroad trackage in accordance with the 421. Provide the DA staff with supervision and technical direction related with the rail trackage maintenance, including propagation of the railway track maintenance. Trackage maintenance standards. Maintain an inventory Army Railroad track related surfaces in accordance with the AR 405, 45, and AR 415, 28. Maintain an inventory for the Army military real property in accordance with the AR 405, 15, 405, 45, and AR 415, 28. The inventory should identification measurements conditional with all the railroad tracks, including spurs, siding yards, turnouts, accessories, and appurtenances, railroad bridges, and military installations. 12. Maintain current DA locomotive replacement criteria for the installation. The computer of the commander of the military service deployment and distribution command will ensure the railway equipment interchange with the FRA Association of American Railroad standards incorporated in the DFIRF. Defensive railway interchange fleet. Flat cars proposed having final authority with the having a final authority to approve the disapprove, modify any of the requests for reduce temporary minimum number of the defensive fleet railway interchange railway interchange fleet. Flat cars, preposition pools. Move provided names of policy implementation military ocean terminals under the direction and control of the MSDSDS Military Surface Deployment Distribution Command. Is under the administrative of the Army Material Command, provided representative to serve the member of the Interstate Locomotive Management Committee. 1.5 Army Rail Policies. Regulatory compliance. All Army activities and installations will copy with the title 49 CFR 200 through 49.299 with compliance with the CFR not possible because of the finding of the constraints deviation request to be submitted with the headquarters approval. All solicitation for contracted operation will include the title 49 CFR 200 through title 49 CFR 299. Rail resources. Rail assets will be acquired according to the availability of commercial transportation assets. Army rail-owned rail equipment for the continents will generally be standard commercial design for the equipment comparable to the equipment being used in the commercial industry. Rail maintenance equipment acquired with the operate with the interchange services as the defensive fleet railway interface fleet would be maintained in accordance with the AR FRA rules practice. Utility railway equipment will be maintained to the same general standards practice in private under the industry of operating similar fleets. Chapter 2, Determination of Authorization Requirements. Alright, peacetime mobilization requirements for locomotive will be based on specific railbound and outbound requirements. IMCOM will identify the appropriate planning of the documentations of each of the Army installation will use the requesting locomotive. The installation submitted the request for the stable distribution allowance authorization in accordance with the AR 7132. Assistance with advice with the requirements of computation could be obtained by the headquarters of the IMCOM. Builds new equipment, especially new locomotives, have improved the operating and maintenance characteristics. Examining with the design improvements, not simply the lack of the wear of the tear prior to the assignment of the bulletin. Built new equipment through the installation of the table distribution allowance review will conduct the determination of the extent, if any, of the which of the characteristics new equipment enable the reduction of the quantity of the equipment type as found with the current table distribution allowance gaining installation. 2.2 track maintenance equipment and rolling stock. The peacetime mobilization requirements equipment rolling stock that will be solely Army utility railroads will be based on the same planning documentation used in computing locomotive requirements. Chapter 3, Operation and Safety.